Yo, what is going on, guys? It's C-Brev bringing you on my first Madden 20 offensive scheme. This is going to be a mini ebook for the gun bunch quads formation inspired by Patrick Mahomes. We're just going to spread the ball and sling it. So if you're new to the channel, please drop a like and subscribe, and we'll get right into it. This is pretty similar to what I put out last year. A lot of the plays work similarly, if not better, this year, and I have a couple new wrinkles to throw in there as well, but overall this scheme is just as good, if not better, than it was last year, and we'll be revisiting some of that in this video. So first off, let's go through substitutions. By default, this formation makes you have a running back lined up out wide in this spot, so just make sure you got a good pass catching back there, someone like Christian McCaffrey or Tariq Cohen, something like that. Really, we don't use him much. He really only goes deep on one play, so don't worry too much about it. Just make sure he can catch the ball if he has to. As far as your other receivers, obviously you want a good pass-catching tight end, because all we're going to be doing is throwing the ball. At this spot where Tyreek Hill is, you want a really fast receiver, preferably with a rack. Like if you're playing regs, if they have the rack superstar ability, that'd be a good spot for this right here. And then your other two receivers, the main slot and the flanker out left, are going to want to be possession receivers. So this is how I have it set up, and you don't have to use the Chiefs for this playbook. You can use whoever, or you can use it in MUT, but just make sure you got your substitutions lined up how I showed you. So as far as audibles, I like to keep them as they are. One thing to note this year is that QB draw is not very good at all. It's almost unusable from what I've seen so far. So if you want to put an additional pass play there, you can put drag under, and that'll give you basically the four main plays of the formation. But I think it's kind of a waste of an audible, because you're always going to pick one of the four, so you might as well, I don't know. There's no point in having all four of your main plays as audibles. Anyway, so what we have here, we only have 4 different plays we run, but there's a total of 9 variations. So there's a lot going on here. And keep in mind that this formation does have a tight end along the line of scrimmage. So if you're worried about getting blitzed, you can always block the tight end and ID the mic to the other side. That's probably going to pick up most edge blitzes, which is what I've been seeing out of people so far this year. So let's get right into it. We have 3 variations of the play spot. So let's do it. The first variation is you're just going to put R1 on a drag, and it looks like this. You're just looking to create a flood concept on the right side of the field. They played man again. So we're just putting R1 on a drag to give us some sort of read over the middle of the field, but here is zone, and we can just dot up the corner route over the top. That looked like a cloud flat. So if it's a cloud flat or a hard flat, you're going to be able to hit that corner route, and if it's a deep curl corner route or corner coverage, then you're just going to be able to hit the tight end going towards the sideline. This is a very simple football concept. It's just a nice, easy, basic play to kind of get your feet wet, get some easy yards on first down. Definitely not the biggest money play in this formation at all, but just a nice basis to have, especially if you can establish to your opponent that you're willing to dot up the right side of the field, because a lot of these plays end up going towards the left side of the field later on. So I think you guys understand the point with this video, or with this play. So if they give you the tight end, you take the tight end. And by the way, stiff arms are really good this year. You pretty much always want a stiff arm instead of truck stick when you run into people this year, so just keep that in mind if you're trying to get extra yards after the catch. Alright, variation 2 of spot is we're going to put R1 on a zig, and we're going to streak the tight end, or you can block the tight end, or you can put him on a slant. Or a drag, I guess. You can't put him on a slant this year. Something like this. I prefer this variation, either this or blocking, in case they're blitzing you. This is a very good play against a heavy blitzer. This is once again just a flood concept to the right side of the field, but the zig is actually really strong against cloud flats. As you can see, the cloud flat actually pushes him inside, which puts him out of position to defend the corner route. So I'm just going to run this a couple times with, this is man coverage. Like I said, we'll get into some man beaters later, and it's very easy to identify man coverage this year, so don't worry about these plays not being particularly good against man so far. But you can see it's basically the same thing as the last spot play, but this allows us to either streak the tight end, which is really, really strong this year, to make reads over the middle of the field, like that. That's cover 2. That's just a dot. Or you can block him to pick up a blitz. And then obviously you have the post coming way late over the middle of the field. If you do block him, you should have time to hit there. But as you can see, these cloud flats just have no chance versus corner route. It just happens too fast. And if they are curl flats, where they drop back into a purple, then obviously you just hit the drag underneath. But even that looks like a curl flat to me. It's just, I don't know. The plays are really good, especially against blitzes. So, and remember, you can always flip these plays. So the third variation of spot is the one that's really good against man coverage. I don't run this one particularly too much, but it's still a pretty decent play. So the big thing here is, with this play, you're going to motion this X receiver to the left, and we're also going to do this in 2 other plays in the formation to make everything kind of look similar. So that's a really strong point of this scheme, is to kind of make things look similar, I guess. What you're going to want to do is put triangle on a streak and R1 on a drag, and then motion this X receiver to the left. You can also smart route him if it's 1st and 10. I like to do that just to make the post a little deeper. But essentially, this post route just destroys man coverage. Like, the break is so sharp that if I know for sure that they're playing man, I'm going straight to this play, pretty much. You can also motion snap him there to avoid a bump, and then literally as soon as he breaks, he gets like 5 yards of separation. It's really gross. Typically, the first thing they'll see as a user too is the slant route or the drag route underneath. So it's not terribly vulnerable to users unless you've been doing it a lot. And then against zone coverage, you're mostly looking to dump the ball underneath to the drag route, which is why we put Tyreek Hill there, to kind of get him in open space. Really, this is your man beater, and the drag is kind of a check down, but pretty solid variation of spot. Like I said, none of the spot plays are the absolute best plays in the formation. There's 2 real money plays that I want to get into, but these are just some nice wrinkles to throw in. Here's man coverage again, and he's literally just wide open. The play absolutely destroys man. Alright, so now we'll get into the 2 variations of bunch trail. This is probably the best play in the formation, I would say, specifically with the main way that we run it. The play just has everything you're looking for. So here's how it looks. What we're going to want to do is put R1 on a drag. This makes it a little shorter and also makes sure that he gets all the way across the field, because on his stock drag he stops in the middle of the field sometimes. And then we're going to motion this X receiver to the left again. So you see how it looks very similar to the variation of spot that we had earlier. So your reads here is you're going to look for a high-low concept on the left side of the field, and this comeback route is insanely good this year. I don't know why the comeback route on this play specifically is so good, but if you're looking at a match concept or man or a hard flat, you're going to get 15 yards with that comeback route every single time. Obviously, if they're playing a deep zone to the sideline, you just hit the drag underneath, take your yards. And then as far as the middle of the field, you have the post and the trail route going at different depths, which means it's very hard to user both of them. And then circle is a 1-play touchdown versus cover 2, assuming they don't put the middle linebacker in a deep blue down the middle of the field. That's basically the only time you're going to throw to circle, is if you recognize it's cover 2. So I'm just going to run this a couple times. Here's man. As you can see, Tyreek Hill is disgustingly wide open, and that's not even the best read every time that you face man coverage. Like I said, that comeback route is just super strong this year. Drags open again. We might have had circle there. I wasn't particularly looking because that was kind of a weird zone blitz looking thing. With this play too, we might just show it versus different zone types. Yeah, this was cover 2. So you can see, had we made the read and we hit circle right here, this is literally, if you pass lead it like over here, it's just literally a free touchdown every time. This is actually the main play that I run against the computer in solo challenges too, because if they ever play cover 2, like I said, it's pretty much a touchdown. So once again, we'll just run this a bunch of times so you can kind of see the concepts. Here they left the middle of the field wide open so we can hit the post. If that post had been usered, we had the trail route coming back over the middle to a different side. And then let's get a couple looks to the left side of the field with this trail concept. You can see that was a deep purple, so we just hit the drag and take our yards. I'm going to back out here and pick a hard flat and a match zone scheme so you can see what I'm talking about with this comeback route, because I promise you guys it's gross. So let's look at a hard flat first. Cover 2 hard flat. So we're snapping the ball and we're immediately looking to the drag and the comeback high-low on the left side. Here you can see the hard flat, and the comeback route is just a free 20 yards. You can even, like I did, I was getting pressured from Von Miller there, so I threw it a little bit early and he still just like sits in place. CPU rush is insane right now. So while we're in cover 2 hard flat, I'll show you the comeback route one more time, and then we'll also show you the running back post over the middle if I can get enough time to throw the ball. So there, even I threw it a little early and he's just wide open. It's a very easy read to the left side. Like I said, it's a high-low. If it's a hard flat, you hit the comeback. If it's a deeper zone to the sideline, you hit the drag. You can do it 4, 5, 10 times a game, and it's pretty hard to defend. And I can promise you guys that you're going to have enough time to make this read online. It's just I'm playing on all Madden against Von Miller in practice mode, but you can see against cover 2, literally just free. Cover 2 is just not good this year, guys, from a defensive standpoint, unless you're putting your middle linebacker in a deep third. So just keep that in mind, but that's the first variation of bunch trail. Very, very strong. This is probably the moneyest play in the formation. This is the play that you could probably run the most and get away with it as far as spamming it. This other version of bunch trail is actually really cute as well. I use it in short yardage situations. So you want to put R1 on a hitch and you want to motion the tight end to the right. So what this creates is, once again, we're confusing, or we're trying to get separation for that X receiver on the corner route. And if they drop back, then we just hit the hitch underneath. And if the hitch underneath is user, then we have 2 different depths of routes going over the middle of the field afterwards. So just to take a look here, the hitch is open, we take our 4 yards. That was against a hard flat too. I'm still in cover 2 hard flat for the computer, but you can see the hitch is there, so we just take it. Also, the corner route comes free afterwards, over the top. So this is a play that I usually pop into after running no huddle if I get like 9 yards on first down or something. So let's say I run the traditional version of bunch trail, I pick up 9 and I get into a 2nd and 1 situation, then I can no huddle. It's only one hot route, and then I can do this motion over here, and then it's like a whole different play for free out of nowhere. So, and it's the same technically. It's technically the same play in the play call screen too, so it's really easy to like do a 1-2 punch with these 2 variations of plays like back to back is what I'm trying to say. So you can see the hitch is open there, but we also have the corner route because it's a hard flat. And like I said, that hitch is pretty much going to be open against all those zones, so that's just a free 3 to 5 yards unless it's usered, and then you have many other reads to work with as well. So that's it for bunch trail. I really like bunch trail a lot in this formation. Like I said, it's probably the best play. Next up, we have 2 variations of inside post and then 1 variation of drag under, and that's going to be the whole scheme. So hope you guys are enjoying the plays so far. I pushed the wrong button, so that's what just happened there. So inside post. This is probably the 2nd best play in the formation. This is a really good money play as well. So what we're going to want to do, once again, there's a lot of sideline flood concepts again, but this one is really strong, especially because all of our flood concepts so far have been to the right side of the field. This one is actually to the left side of the field. It's very quick, and it has the exact same motion as bunch trail and spot. So really, really strong variation to all the other plays that we've been running in this formation. That's kind of the point of this specific inside post play, but it's just a great counter to everything else you've been doing. So what you're going to want to do is put your tight end on a drag, put circle on a slant, and then once again we're going to motion this X receiver over to the left into this position. So what your reads are here is once again a high-low flood concept to the left side of the field. If the sideline coverage is dropping back, you can hit the tight end underneath, put a nice stiff arm in their chest and pick up 5 to 10 yards. If it's a hard flat, then you can hit the X route up over the top. And what you're going to want to do if that's the case is pass lead up and possession catch on the sideline. Hopefully I can get some good clips here. This is man. They just screamed at me from man coverage. I know that's going to be one of the knocks against this formation is picking up blitzes because it is a spread out formation, but that's kind of the point. And like I said, you can always block the tight end. Like if you really had to block someone with this play, you could streak or you could drag R1 and block the tight end, and it would still be roughly the same concept. So what we're looking to do here, like I said, is just hit the tight end underneath if we can, and if you throw it early enough, like you see there, we actually get the receiver on the right side of the field to block for us downfield, which is also nice. I tend to motion snap this sometimes as well because that was just a bad read. It looked like man coverage. Because if you motion snap him, it prevents him from getting bumped, essentially, is why I do it. But as with any of the plays in this formation, it's going to take some time to getting used to. I'm still kind of working on my reads, perfecting them and such. Obviously, this play is very good versus man. That running back, for some reason, doesn't get bumped against man coverage, even if it's press man, so it's pretty free to just hit the slant over the middle. But really what we're looking for is this high-low over the left side. Like I said, there we hit the drag underneath, we get a nice block, and all of a sudden we picked up 20 yards on a drag route. So aside from the main version of bunch trail, like I said, this is the second strongest play in the formation. Just a lot going on, and it's a flood concept to the opposite side of the field as what we've been running the whole game, essentially. It just counters everything we've been doing really well. I'm going to back out into a hard flat again just to show you what it looks like with that X receiver getting in behind it. So once again, it's tight end on a drag, circle on a slant. You can motion snap this X, and now it's a hard flat, so we just pass lead up on X and possession catch. Free. Literally so good. And it's so weird that this flood concept to the left side of the field happens so fast for it being completely opposite the main side of the formation. Like, both the X route and the drag get to their spots essentially really quickly, which makes this incredibly strong. As you can see, if for some reason this is taken away, you have the circle, slant, and the R1 as check downs deep downfield. I kind of just threw it just to throw it there, but if you're running this too much and they start catching on, or for some reason you don't feel comfortable with the lead or with the read to the left side of the field, then your circle and your inside post with Tyreek Hill are going to be your check downs. I really like plays that have short routes as your first read and then deep routes as your check down. I really think that's a good concept in Madden in general, and that's really what this play provides. So once again, hard flat, we pass lead up, and you probably want to not get greedy and just possession catch that, but that's a free 15 yards. Alright, so this is the other variation of inside post. Not as good, but still pretty decent. This essentially the point of this specific play is just to get your square receiver on a drag and get some underneath yardage and try to make something happen after the catch. I think this is also an important variation to the formation because this is the only play where square actually comes to the right side of the field instead of staying over to the left side of the field. So if they're getting crazy and manning up people from the right side of the field onto your receivers and stuff, then throwing this play in there is going to get you a lot of free yardage just from hitting this drag route, because it should be open because it kind of contradicts everything else you've been doing. The other thing is to put the tight end on a streak like this, and then we're actually going to motion Tyreek Hill out like this. And what this does is it makes his break on his post take a little longer, so that those zone plays or those zone coverages right where the drag is going kind of have to respect it and back off essentially. I think I'm still in cover 2 hard flat, so let's show it a couple times versus this, and then we'll show it against cover 3, cover 4. But like I said, the entire point of this variation is really just to hit the drag route underneath for free yards like this. That was 7 yards for free, and it Obviously, they're not going to be expecting you to throw a drag route to square based on all the other plays you've been running so far out of this formation. You can also just hit the tight end up the seam like that. You can do that with really any play in this formation. Tight ends up the seam are really, really good this year. Let's back out and do cover 3, and then we'll get into the last play of the formation, and that's going to be it. So once again, this is inside post, the second version of it, where we are putting square on a drag and triangle on a streak, and then we're motioning this receiver out to the right side like so. This is against cover 3 sky, so really all those routes on the right side just serve as a clear out to make room for this drag and pick up some nice easy yardage. You can see I kind of instinctually rolled to the left while I was making that read as well. It was mostly instinctual, like I said, but it actually helps a lot, because if you can get into the habit of doing that, it makes these drag routes a lot stronger when they have quarterback spies sitting over the middle of the field. So by rolling left, I'm moving the spy with me if there was one, and then I can hit the drag coming across the field to the other side. But you can see, just against a typical cover 3 look, really all the routes to the right side of the field just clear out the zones, and then we can hit the drag underneath for nice, quick, easy yards. Like I said, once again, not a staple of the formation by any means, but definitely a nice wrinkle. And with that, we're going to get into the last play of the formation. Once again, I would hope that you guys like and subscribe to my channel, like the video, subscribe for more Madden 20 content. That would help me out a lot. I really appreciate it, and I hope you're enjoying the mini ebook. So the last play is drag under. I'm positive there's a better way to run this play, but this is really all I've figured out so far, and the other plays in the formation are so good that it's really not a big deal that I haven't really solved this one yet. But all you want to do is put square on a slant, and then we're actually going to motion the tight end to the left like this. And once again, the entire point of this play is to clear out the zones and hit a drag route underneath, but this time we're looking at our running back as the circle route. So the way these actually form is if you throw it early enough like that, you can actually get the routes to block for you downfield, so it kind of works like a middle screen in a way if you get the right kind of interaction with your players. The entire point of this play is to only throw to the running back like this. It's just an easy 5 yards. The only situation where you don't want to throw to the running back is if they really heavily user the drag route on this play. And should they heavily user the drag route, that clears up the middle of the field. And I was trying to hit triangle there, but the pressure was a little much. But let's just say this middle linebacker, they're using the middle of the field and they jump down hard on this drag route. Then you have the X, the square, and the triangle all running deep behind their user, essentially. And I'm trying not to throw off my back foot, but you can see that triangle was open there. Once again, the pass rush from the computer is just a little nuts. But like I said, your main plays in this formation are bunch trail and inside post, the best variations of them. All these other wrinkles are kind of just to get free yards. So let's run this successfully one more time to this running back running this drag route over to the left side of the field, and then we will call it a video. So once again, I appreciate everyone watching this. Stay tuned for more content this year from me, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.